Start recording. And you can start whenever you want.
Okay.
We've started, but, you know,
All right. I
But
get it.
whenever you want.
do your breathing
Yeah, if you
exercises.
give me a second
No,
for there to be a lull, I'll begin.
never.
Welcome uh, to chapter 11
Yeah.
of My Little Cemetery. I am your host, the infamous storyteller, and I'm joined by some of my friends, and we're gonna get right into it. So, Joe, go ahead, take us away.
I'll get to it. I should move my other microphone closer, but that's another day's problem. Chapter 11. Red. We settled into a routine over the next week. I'd get up, unlock Lauren's door, walk down to the kennel in the kitchen, let Rudy out, and he would thunder up the stairs. I'd hear Lauren's door creak open, then close again. I'd eat breakfast on top of and top off Rudy's water bowl. Then I'd go out to the shop to experiment with casting different types of silver bullets or work on a sterling silver chainmail shirt I'd been meaning to get done. I should have made it sooner. After lunch, I'd run through dry fire drills with my various guns and crossbows, then wrap up with one or two live fire drills in my makeshift range. I'd finish the day with a kettlebell workout or a long run with Rudy, followed by practicing a bit on the punching bag hanging in the back of my shop. Lauren would work with Rudy in the morning and spend much of the rest of her day drifting around like a ghost from room to room in the house and through the surrounding woods. Often I'd look up from a set of kettlebell clings or glance out the shop's window to find her nestled down at the back of a tree with Rudy napping on her lap as she wrote or drew in a notebook. Sometimes I'd see her lying on the ground watching the wind blow through the trees. Around 7, we would find our way to the kitchen, and I'd cook dinner. She'd pull a quart of cow's blood from the fridge and replace it with one from the freezer. She seemed to still like normal food, so I'd make extra. I'd turn on the TV and watch something, and sometimes she'd join me, sitting on the floor with Rudy. Most of the time, she went up to her room. Once I was ready for bed, I would call up to Rudy, and who would reluctantly clamber down the stairs from Lauren's room. I'd let him outside to do his business, then shut him in his kennel. I would go upstairs, lock Lauren securely in her room, and finally secure myself in bed. We went 3 weeks without any news from Chris on how his raid was coming along, with no new jobs, which wasn't surprising. I was getting bored, worried, and a bit complacent. Lauren seemed so harmless I had to keep reminding myself what she was capable of. One morning, after getting out of bed and unlocking Lauren's door, I waited for her after making breakfast instead of going out to the shop. I sat at the kitchen table absent-mindedly scrolling through different crossbow bolts for sale. She came down not long after. I usually would have left. No work or shop today? She stopped halfway down the stairs and leaned on the railing. Plenty, but I'm thinking about going to town for the day. Oh, she frowned. You're gonna lock me in my room then? Sure am, unless you come. She looked at me skeptically and leaned further over the balcony. Why? I want to eat somebody else's food. Pick up a salt lick for the deer and get a few other big things. Taking me would be a risk, she clarified, so why? Are you going to run or try to get me in trouble with the local cops? I could, she smiled. You could also play nice, join me for dinner, and have a relatively enjoyable evening. I could, she drew out the words, seeming to think it over. Where were you planning to go for dinner? Chinese, but I'm open if you would like to go somewhere else. I couldn't help but notice her hips sway from side to side as she thought it over. Gosh, she was distracting. I got up and started water for my morning tea, giving myself something to do other than stare at her. Fine, I'll come. But we're getting curry. Thai or something else. I was thinking Indian, but Thai's good. Do you have to drink that? Her voice was close. I turned from where I was shredding fresh ginger into a coffee cup. She was a few feet behind me, glaring at my cup. I like it, and yes, I popped in 4 rosebuds. Do you want to know why? I think I have an idea, she replied. Roses and ginger tea. I make it every morning I'm in the field. Makes me sell, makes me smell delicious to vampires and other predators. Are you trying to get bit? Yes, actually, I want him to be distracted, I replied, and she scowled. I couldn't help a small smile. She continued to glare at me. I poured hot water in the cup, setting it aside. You should put garlic in it, Lauren said. Why? People eat a lot of it smell nasty. People and garlic don't mix at all. She glared at the tea. You should drink garlic juice instead. I picked up the glass and took a sip. She stepped around me and dug in the fridge, pulling out apple juice and cream cheese. After breakfast, we locked up Rudy, leaving him home. He still needed a line and outdoor kennel, two of the things on my list. I pulled into the local farm supply store where Lauren helped me pick out an outdoor kennel in line for Rudy. I was about to walk by the toy aisle when Lauren stopped me by lightly grabbing my shoulder. The touch sent prickles up my spine, and I couldn't tell if they were good or not. What? It came out harsher than I had meant. Her eyes blinked in surprise, and she quickly withdrew her hand. I coughed, clearing my throat. Sorry. What is it? I prompted in a less rough tone, though it still had an edge I couldn't quite get rid of. She pointed to a stuffed tiger. We should get him some chew toys. He's been destroying the one you had from him and a couple pillows. I nodded absent-mindedly, trying not to think about the lingering feel of her touch. It should have been cold, so why had it felt warm? Good idea. Is there anything else he needs? Treats would be great, actually. A dog bed for inside, one for outside would be nice too, but if that's too much, I can just move it when he goes out. I suppose I can afford that, I said. Lauren picked out a couple of toys, including a ball and a throwing arm. I grabbed two big beds. As we shopped, I kept catching the occasional stare from a redhead around my age. Her complexion was very light, not uncommon, but she kept looking from me to Lauren. Her expression was troubled, and her attention was mostly on Lauren. She was very discreet, but I've been hunted by many things, including people. You get a feel for it. I guided Lauren through the store, keeping an eye on the redhead. Perhaps it was nothing. Lauren was acting a bit strange. She looked around from time to time as if trying to find something or someone, but couldn't put her finger on it. We checked out, and I unloaded the big items into a truck bed as Lauren put the smaller ones in the cab. As I climbed in the truck, Lauren looked at me strangely. Your scent is too thick. Oh? I asked as I pulled out onto the road and headed to Walmart. I thought I smelled something familiar. I couldn't get a good feel of it with you standing so close. Your smell never dissipates. It's like a fresh dose of rotting cinnamon every time I take a breath. Well, if you get hit of it, let me know and I'll give you some more space. It's not a big deal. I just feel a bit more vulnerable not being able to smell. I've become so used to distinguishing things and people by smell, it's hard when it's all masked by yours. I stopped at a light and scanned the cars around me for the redhead. I couldn't find her, though I kept looking as we drove. What was the smell like? I asked. She frowned, looking away. She wasn't going to tell me, though it seemed she had an idea. It doesn't matter. Where are we going next? Walmart, Lowe's, then Thai food. Would it be alright if I got a sketchbook? I filled up the notebook you gave me. I don't see why not. Is there anything else you need? No. Well, if something comes to mind, let me know. I kept my eye out for the redhead as we shopped, but I didn't see her in either store. Lauren picked out a sketchbook, and I threw in another one and a pack of nice-looking pencils. Then I forced her to pick out some more clothes. A week's worth just isn't enough to be comfortable. I hated doing laundry, and she was having to do laundry twice a week. I told her it was because of the water bill. After picking up a few more things from Lowe's, we finally sat down in a small Thai restaurant. I sat along the wall facing the floor. I was looking forward to this.
Facing the floor?
Facing the floor, but with a D. I sat along the wall facing the floor out of embarrassment.
That still makes sense to me.
No, but he would be facing the door. That is...
Yeah, but facing the floor is get it out there on the floor.
Oh,
That's how I
oh,
interpret
I
it.
see.
Yeah,
I see. That's very
Yeah.
smart.
the dancing
So that's
floor.
how I interpret it, kind of like that. Yeah, but like, if you're
Yeah.
workers, get out on the floor. That's how I interpreted it. So
Thanks
whenever
for
he
So like
said
the
that,
floor, like
it didn't feel out of place to me.
yeah. So it felt like he was looking over the whole restaurant. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Yes,
Thanks for
that's what I
rationalizing that for
felt.
me, Brandon. That makes
You're
me feel better.
welcome.
I was looking forward to this. I'm a fairly good cook, but not a chef by any means. Lauren ordered some red curry with shrimp and rice, and I got the pad thai. Not long after we ordered, the redhead walked in. I knew it. Our eyes met as she smiled at the waitress and took a seat to our right. Lauren had not seen the woman and looked around, taking a deep breath in through her nose. That familiar smell is back. Give me a sec. Hiccup. Oh no. Hiccups? No, we're good. That familiar scent's back, isn't it? I asked. Lauren looked at me surprised. Yes, she admitted softly. You wouldn't happen to know a redhead with a very pale complexion and an angular face? I asked. I don't believe so. She sounded honest. Well, she seems very interested in one of the two of us, and unfortunately it doesn't seem to be me. What makes you think that? Lauren asked as the waiter put down our food. I smiled to the waiter and said thanks. The waiter nodded and walked over to the redhead's table. I turned back to Lauren. She was following us in the farm store. Her attention was mostly on you. What are we going to do? I took a bite out of my pad thai. Have dinner. It's very good. You're not concerned? No, I replied. Lauren sat stiffly and ate, trying not to look behind her as at the woman across the room. A couple more bites in, she shook her head. I'm going to the restroom. Don't be long. I shoved another forkful of noodles in my mouth. As soon as Lauren disappeared into the back hallway, the redhead stood and followed. Well, this was going to get messy. I'd let her pass, then get up and go after her. Then, well, we'd have to play it by ear. I was surprised when she didn't continue past my booth, but slipped in across from me, taking Lauren's place. She smiled at me sweetly, green eyes probing like a mountain lion trained on prey. What are you doing with Miss Charles? The redhead asked. Now she has a different voice. I don't know. Fine, it's just gonna be default. Lightly voiced. Hey, what are you doing with Miss Charles? That's not how she sounds. She's my date for the evening. You don't know what mess you're in. She's going to literally rip your heart out. I should let her, but you might not deserve it. She produced a missing persons poster. There was a picture of Lauren, skin a darker shade, pink in her smiling cheeks. My heart rate picked up. I hadn't expected this. You get up and leave, and we have no problems. You stay, and the cops will be here in less than 5 minutes. I wonder how long it'll take to get out of prison, being the lead suspect in her missing persons case. Really. I reached out swiftly, grabbed her hand, and clasped her palm under my ring. She jerked back to the touch, but I gripped her hand solidly. Her hand quivered under the metal, then slowly went still as the ring numbed it, causing her to lose strength. She didn't seem scared or flustered. Instead, she leaned closer. So, you know she'll rip you to pieces, the redhead stated. I shook my head. No, she doesn't have the heart. You, on the other hand, you're the next level like a crazy redheaded ex-girlfriend. I can't even imagine what you'd do to me. Shut up. No, that's not how she'd say it. Shut up, she snapped. Her arm was, no doubt, slowly going numb. Is this her saying?
Yeah, this is her.
Yeah, what is your interest in Miss Charles? You can't be thinking of returning her to her family. Are you trying to retrieve a lost piece of property? Her other hand struck like lightning as she slapped me hard across the face. I reflexively let go of her hand. My hand went straight to my 1911 under my jacket. I could taste blood in my mouth. She pulled her hand back, rubbing her limp fingers. The waiter and some of the other patrons looked. Lauren stood in the back hall staring, eyes wide. Well, I suppose it was inevitable that the two of you would meet. I announced loudly enough for those around to hear. I stood up, spitting blood into my napkin, and sat on the table. I'll happily talk to the two of you in a more private location. I walked to the counter and pulled 200s from my wallet. For me and the two lovely ladies. My apologies. The cashier took the money from me and muttered something about me being in some deep something or other. I walked out of the restaurant and could hear Lauren's shoes as she followed. If I was lucky, the redhead wouldn't. I was disappointed to find her walking alongside Lauren, talking quickly and quietly as they approached the truck. Uh-oh. And that's the end of chapter 11. It's the hot-headed redhead from the episode...
Hot-headed redhead?
The hot-headed redhead from the day before.
Like Ygritte from Game of Thrones?
Sure.
I don't know. I've never seen Game of Thrones.
No,
I've
not
only
like that
seen
at
clips
all.
Like
of that.
Wendy from Wendy's.
Like Miss from Miss Frizzles.
Like Miss for Miss Frizzle. She's a hot-headed. She's a hot-headed
Sorry, that
redhead.
was the only redhead I could think of.
Like Mrs. Weasley.
Yeah.
From
Some
the
of the
Molly?
dialogue is just painful in this book, but I'll
He was too.
You'll allow it.
Okay,
I'll suffer
so
through
for
it.
a social, for an
I'm
awkward
sure-
person who doesn't know what to do things, he was frustratingly smooth in that entire interaction. Or at least
mean,
he thought
Very
he was.
bold.
I thought
I
he
do-
thought
I-
he was. I bet it did not.
So I'm imagining a small town. I don't know why. It's got a Walmart, don't get me wrong, right?
Hey, I live in
But-
the biggest small town there is, and there's a Walmart. So
There's a small town in my parents' town, or there's Walmart in my parents' town.
yeah.
But getting caught, air quote, cheating in this scenario is gonna make some waves in the local community.
There was this dude. He was getting pad thai, and then
definitely gonna
sitting
affect the
across
local
street
trout
from
population
this girl.
for sure.
She pretty cute, pretty attractive, some about her, some different. But then get a hold of this. X walks in, even hotter, even huger, and that's the plot for an episode. I'm just thinking.
Sure.
Tense.
I'm just thinking about. So there's this really dumb YouTube video where it's just guys like, okay, got an idea for an anime. Okay, we got transfer student. She comes into the school. She's got a big load of Hankabadaka conqueroos.
Oh yeah.
But get this,
I
there's a
remember
plot
that.
twist. Another foreign exchange student comes in, but even she's got bigger Dobanga Hagala Bogaros.
Oh my goodness.
It just gets so
And
out
it
of
just
hand.
gets just some great
Let me
big
guess, it's a running gag.
yeah, and it just keeps going. It's like I'm talking great big Gahunga Balonga Longas. I'm talking
The,
giant honkers. It's like
the problem is the words, while not real, convey exactly.
No, we know.
I'd like to.
That's
Everyone
the
listening,
problem.
everyone currently listening to this podcast knows exactly what you're
Yeah.
talking about.
I might.
That's the-
I'll probably cut this out. The episode is.
Wait,
I don't know. I
is-
might keep it. I might
is-
not. I'm ashamed.
Is Sarah's mom?
Oh
is
no!
Sarah's
Yeah,
mom
we're
watching?
definitely cutting this because Sarah's mom watches this. That's
Hi, Sarah.
Also,
high. Well,
I
Sarah's
said,
not.
well-
Sarah's not watching today,
So-
so I'm lucky. Or oh no! I hope she's not like actively showing it to her
there
friends
are
and family right
there
now.
are moms
I'm sure that's
who
happening.
do listen.
Yes. I hope my mom's not listening.
Hi, mom.
Hi, mom. Hey.
Julian's
we're
mom
here.
might be though.
Get in the.
We're
This
making
is a
good
safe
decisions.
Please put. I understand with certainty in the comments if you know what Dohanga Bongala Mangaros are.
Are you really gonna wear those shoes?
Are you really gonna wear those shoes?
Yes. Yes. It's a metaphor for clompy stompy dripping
you,
little boots.
yep.
That's the
This
metaphor.
is where you put in the soundtrack.
Yeah, I'll not. I might
Mhm.
do that. I don't know. It'll be a while till I get to my little cemetery editing.
All of this.
Yeah, this is not gonna get edited out.
It might not. I might just leave it. At this point, I might just leave the episodes as is. Maybe. We'll
Yeah.
see. Might try the YouTube editing studio where I just
Janet, we did think of you.
Who?
Thoughts and prayers.
Who's Janet?
Sarah's mom?
Oh,
Jeanette?
yeah.
Jeanette.
Oh, hi.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Who's- This is going so well for you, Joe.
no.
At least I don't have to be the person
Just
who's
set a
embarrassed
reminder
anymore.
for yourself 2 months from now, and maybe you won't have edited it by then.
Not gonna happen.
Okay, let's keep going on the episode so I can save myself. Let's keep going so I can make fun of Adam instead of myself. That's what we're doing here. Let's get to the real beans. Okay,
Fair enough.
chapter 12, An Unexpected Guest. When the two reached me, Lauren's eyes were wide, and the other woman's were fiery and angry. You put on quite a show, the redhead snapped. Like you could get one woman, much less lead two on. Burn. I don't know, you seem quite interested. I spat bloody saliva on the pavement at her feet. Just sending huge charisma waves her way. Lauren took a step away from
He's
me.
smooth.
At the same time, the redhead took another deep breath, an irritated smile broke across her lips. I spat again. Please stop, Lauren pleaded from the other side of the truck. My face still throbbed, and I was still mad at the redhead, but I swallowed the blood instead. It just reminds me of a post on Tumblr where it's like me spitting out a glob of blood. You've grown stronger since we've last met, my dentist. Stop doing that. What's wrong with you?
Oh, that's
No one
great.
really knows.
That's what I'm feeling when Lauren's like, please stop.
Please
Like I
stop.
understand
Why
that
are
this
you
is
doing
because
this?
the blood smells good to her and stuff, but I just think she's more like this is so awkward. You're so weird.
It might be a little bit of both.
You didn't answer
What do
my
you mean? Anthony's got all the riz.
he's the skibbity rizzler. I wish I had a trained sniper to take me out for that. Anyways, you didn't answer my question, miss. Are you here for lost property? I asked. She looked from me to Lauren. I came to find a missing person, but she seems to be in more trouble than I had bargained for. Well, you seem to know a thing or two about the trouble she's in. The redhead glared at me as I spoke. You should let her come with me. It'd be safer for both of you. I shook my head, smiling. No. I turned to face Lauren. Lauren, get in the truck. I think it's time we left. Don't do it. He will kill you. He's gonna do it, the redhead told Lauren. Lauren didn't move. I know what you're going through, continued the redhead. It's a rough world for us. I promise I won't hurt you. I'll help you, she pleaded. Just don't get in the truck with him. Who are you? Lauren said. My name is Amber Anderson, because that's the name redheads get. I'm a private investigator, but more importantly,
Wait, what do you want from me?
Hi, I'm Randy Redhead.
No,
I know
Joe,
a
not
Jen
that
that's
name.
a redhead.
Hi, I'm Crimson Amber Shadow of the Redwood Forest. I'm a private investigator, but more importantly, I know what you're going through. Have you or a loved one experienced vampiric
Mesothelioma.
and or kidnapping? Because you could be in for financial compensation. You don't have to be locked in a cage, held captive, or killed to keep you from hurting people. And so can you. That's not exactly what she said. Lauren seemed torn. The infomercial was very convincing. She looked to me, to the redhead. I was in no position to stop her, here in public. Will you hurt Rudy if I leave? The question hit harder than I expected. It was my turn to take a deep breath. She's lying, Lauren. If there was someone who rehabilitated vampires, I would know. In my experience, vampires can't be rehabilitated, with one exception. You must not have met very many, the redhead spat. More than you, I'd guess, I said dryly. Will you hurt him? Lauren asked again. A long moment of silence passed before I answered. No. Then I'm going with her, Lauren asserted. I shook my head. She was making a mistake. You're sure? Lauren nodded. Very. She took a step back from the truck. So be it. I hope I never have reason to find you. Grab your things and go. Lauren didn't move until I took a step back, then she pulled her bags from the cab. I scowled at the redhead, and she smirked back. Come on, dear, let's get you somewhere safe. You never go with someone to a secondary location! Lauren, you're stupid! The redhead pulled out a set of keys, and a nice gray Jeep lit up a few stalls down. She walked after Lauren, keeping an eye on me the entire time. I watched them get in and drive off. If this was a normal encounter, I would have followed. Should have, but I didn't. I went against my instincts and stood there for a long time before getting in my truck and driving home. I pulled into my garage, bitter and angry. Perhaps that's why I didn't notice that something was wrong. I threw my truck in park and trudged in the front door, flicking on the light. There, sitting on my table, was the man I had shot and left for dead in the lake. He smiled at me. Where's my asset? I remember he's a nerd. I could hear the sound of boots on the porch behind me. I didn't look back but stepped into the house and walked to the cupboard. I pulled out a pack of dried rosebuds out and poured a few in a cup. Someone entered and closed the door behind me. I grabbed some powdered ginger on the cupboard and dumped a scoop in the cup. Tea? I asked. No, but feel free, the man replied. I started the pot and turned to lean on my counter. There was a rough-looking man standing in the doorway and a couple more standing in the living room, looking at me with their Tommy guns trained at me. An interesting choice considering modern weaponry.
And they jam. Anyways.
Not in a musical
cool,
way.
guys.
It just looked cool.
No.
Noted that
They
jam
For a
in a musical
gangster
way, too.
aesthetic, it's
They
slaps.
really
So,
rattle.
if
Now-
this,
jam.
they jammin', you
I-
know.
I do want to say, Joe, you pointed out for comedic effect, you're like, don't go to a secondary location.
But really,
Right?
really don't.
But no,
Yeah,
no,
no.
you said that. But if she knew that, she wouldn't have been kidnapped in the first place.
Oh, that's true. That's true. She just doesn't learn from
Poor
her
They
Lauren,
mistakes,
didn't
does
she's
figure
she?
just
it out
too
the first
trained.
time.
Don't be like Lauren, guys. Don't be.
Don't be
Don't be a Lauren.
Don't be a Lauren.
Be Lauren.
Be an Anthony. Okay.
Drink rose and ginger
If you're
tea.
ever in this situation, think of the acronym Anthony. All times hate observing. Never.
Move on.
You're gonna get kidnapped if you follow someone to a second location. The last one's a little bit of anyways. I like to think that when he enters the house it switches to black and white noir. Like it's like tea? Nah,
I mean-
but feel free. See? And then an interesting choice considering the modern weaponry. Don't make me ask a third time. Where's my asset? Sorry.
Nerdy.
I know. I was trying to
Not
do
old
a
and
nerdy.
decrepit.
I was trying to do a nerdy New York accent, just kind of mixing them up, you know. It's
Yeah,
hard
yeah,
to
don't
do a
do that.
nerdy New Yorker.
Just stick with
Yeah, I'm
nerdy.
just gonna be a nerdy little guy. Where's my asset? 6 feet underground with a silver dagger through her heart. Looks like I should have done something similar to you. Pardon my unprofessionalism. The man chuckled, smiling. He produced a flask from his jacket and took a swig. It smelled like whiskey. My pot whistled, and I poured it into a cup before sitting across from him. I took a sip and pulled out a cigar. Rudy's cage was empty. Oh, the monster. If that's the case, then why is my man telling me her tracer is flying across the country? At this rate, she'll be in Canada and out of range. Well, now I know how they found my house. Perhaps I'm not as good at my job as I'd assumed. I find that hard to believe. I'm paid a pretty penny, and I'm not disappointed in your work. Those Feyhounds are very hard to kill, and you killed 3 after blowing my brains out. You also killed my guard in half a second. You know, the one with the cool accent. I was really disappointed. I must say your skills are impressive. It's rumored you even fought the Rocky Mountain Horror, the man replied. What do you want? This was getting more and more unpleasant. My property back, but if I can't get that, I might have to settle with something else. The Rocky Mountain Horror seems like a fair trade. You cost me quite a bit. Seems like the least you could do to repay me. Ice ran through my body, though I didn't show it. It's not real. You're just gonna have to put a bullet through my skull and cut your losses. Oh, it's real. He slipped an envelope from his suit jacket and placed it on the table. 3 grainy satellite pictures showed a group of men in a firefight. The second showed what appeared to be a black arm dragging a body into a cave mouth. The next picture shook me. It was older. A young Victor stood with a group of backpackers. They all looked hollow-eyed. What surprised me even more was that my dad stood on the far left of the group with a pump shotgun held loosely in his hands. Victor's face was stitched up poorly, hard to tell what they used due to the picture's age. It was strange to see his young face freshly scarred. He never said what did it. At their feet was a massive, lanky human form, dark beneath a white sheet. I looked closer at the picture. They weren't in the Rockies. The vegetation was more tropical. Where was this? I found myself asking. The collector smiled. Somewhere in Brazil. I sat back in my seat and shook my head as he continued. I have had a hard time tracking down anyone in this photo. Apparently, the one I'd been trying to find has gone missing. Imagine my glee when I heard he had a protege. I had to see what you were capable of, and I am not disappointed. So you were testing me then? Yes. You shouldn't be surprised that I made a mess of things. I took a sip of my tea. In retrospect, no, but that doesn't mean I'm gonna let it go. He smiled
Sardonically.
Sardonically. Get a thesaurus in the comments. Then kill me.
I know what it means. I just can't say it.
I don't know what it means, and I can't say it. So good on you.
I know what it means, and I can say it.
We have the entire spectrum.
That's why you're the editor.
That's why you're the editor, and I'm the air editor.
But not of this book, ironically enough.
Ironically. Then kill me. I'm not going after the Rocky Mountain Horror. I don't care who killed it in your life. I can't kill it. It can't be killed. I set down my glass, splashing a mouthful of tea on the table. Oh, it hasn't killed anyone I know. I want it alive. I want it alive. I want it alive for my collection. Oh, the man chuckled. That is the most clinically insane statement I've ever heard. That bullet must have really scrambled your brain. He chuckled again. This was getting disturbing. Why can't you kill it? Certainly you must know something. It moves to the woods like a wraith. You know, the one on the lake out in the backyard. The big thing is guns.
One on my pond. Go ahead.
The one he has the one out in the lake.
Like the one on my pond, yeah.
The one in the pond.
It's a pond.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's that one, and then like you see it, and it's like, hey guys. Hi. Oh. It moves through the woods like a wraith.
You've convinced me.
Oh, okay. That's freaky. I don't want to collect that. That's gross looking. The big thing is guns don't work. Silver does nothing. Raw iron is useless. Your best chance is to lure it into a large wood chipper or industrial shredder, but it's too smart for that. There are stories of trappers disappearing, and all that was found was their mangled bear trap. I could tell by his expression I was not getting anywhere. Why not lure it into a steel shipping crate? If you could, I would be surprised if it held, but you can't. It's a hunter, and it will not fall for a trap. Perhaps C4 or Claymore mine. If you could blow it to pieces, you might kill it, but I doubt it would present you with an opportunity. You don't hunt it, it hunts you. You should see my collection. It might surprise you what a man can hunt and even take alive. I don't care if you have Dracula himself. Oh, he's the back. He's not as cool as you think. He's kind of boring. I stated slowly, emphasizing every word. You are not capturing or killing the Rocky Mountain Horror. They did. He pointed at the picture of my father, Victor, and the 3 other men standing over the massive body. Possibly. If that was the same type of creature, then they never told me how or that they even did it. They? You know more than just this Victor character? He asked. I cursed in my head, but it was too late. I backpedaled. Yeah, they, I replied. Who else knows about this thing? Victor is the main source, but there was a Marine friend of his who seemed to know a lot. I pointed to one of the random faces in the picture. I don't know him. We had drinks at a bar once, and they talked a little, but Victor's the one you'd want to talk to. Well, he is missing. You wouldn't know where he went, would you? He took a sip from his flask. If you told me, perhaps I could overlook our recent misunderstandings. Dead. 4 years ago. He went up to the Rockies with a special team from the government to end this threat. I pointed to the covered body. He and 10 other men are now missing, and the government has taken 100 miles of the Rockies as training ground to minimize the number of people who go missing each year. You want Victor? His remains are probably hanging at the bottom of a lava tube with every bit of skin ripped off his decomposing body. It eats your skin like string cheese and leaves the rest to rot off the bark rope it hung you from. That's a fun visual. The man's eyes gleamed greedily, soaking in the information. Oh, I love string cheese. Does it really? That'd be quite the spectacle. Scars on my back ached, without a doubt. No, I don't want to be string cheese. Stop. Have you seen its victims? Every day I look in a mirror. No, but Victor's word is more than enough. There's no chance, then, that he survived? Not if we want to be truthful. You can come up with a fairy tale of how he possibly still alive, but you'd just be living a delusion. Having a few fays myself, I'm willing to play with the possibility, but yeah, you're right. It seems slim. I guess I'll have to settle with you. He stood up, returning the flask to his pocket. If you prove yourself, you'll be rewarded very handsomely. I need to get going and retrieve that asset you stole. We'll continue our discussion on how to catch this Rocky Mountain horror soon. I went to stand, but a heavy hand on my shoulder and a muzzle shoved in my back as the man walked out the front door. He pulled my arms behind my back and cuffed me. The man behind me stood up quickly and searched me. He took my gun mags and silver knife. He examined the gun, ejecting the mag and looking at my alternating rounds. He popped a couple out and looked at them, then glanced over at me. They are very well crafted. We could use something like this. He mused, fingering the silver-tipped round. You got any more laying around? I didn't respond and kept my expression blank. He emptied my 3 mags under the table and sorted out silver tips from the regular rounds. He swiped the silver rounds up and pocketed them, leaving my gun and the other rounds on the table before escorting me back to a black sedan. They were thorough, chaining my hands and feet to the eye hooks welded in the floor of the trunk. A big, fat man got out of the sedan with a briefcase. How much do you weigh? He asked cordially. Okay, I guess he's not that fat. Pulling a syringe from the briefcase. Well, I'm guessing 180. 175, I corrected. He nodded to himself and filled the syringe, then stuck it through my jeans into my thigh. I could feel fire starting to run up and down my leg. My vision was starting to go blurry. I was rolled onto my side and propped up so I couldn't roll over. The trunk slammed, and waves of blackness and fire began cascading over my body. And that's the end of chapter 12.
Ooh.
That was very fun. Very fun, very exciting.
Isn't that a fun chapter?
That's a fun chapter.
Yay!
Get in the
More
comments if that was a fun
kidnapping.
chapter. Leave the comment. This was a fun chapter.
This book is full of kidnapping. Yeah, you're right, Brandon.
It's full of kidnapping in secondary locations.
Moral of the story.
Maybe even tertiary locations. We don't talk about those.
We don't talk about Bruno.
Yeah, he went to a tertiary location. You don't even want to know.
It was fun. It was fun to write.
That's a good one.
No,
Most of it's okay. Some of the dialogue is cringe, but if
You had to start somewhere.
yeah.
If not cringe, why not? Just why not?
One man's
Dialogue is hard.
One
It's-
man's
it's hard.
cringe is another 12 to 13-year-old's Tumblr post.
And they view it as gospel.
That's
We
even
can't
more
all be edgelords.
We
That's
can't
almost
all be
worse.
Oh wait,
edgelords.
maybe we can.
We can
We all
sure-
can.
We can sure try.
Deep down in my heart of hearts, I am the edgiest of the edgelords.
You don't understand, Anthony. I've collected the Blue Eyes White Dragon, okay? I know what I'm messing with.
And
He
the
is
red eyes black
in
dragon.
my truck.
He is in my
Right
truck
now.
right now. If you listen to him, like, listen up. I'm the Blue Eyes White Dragon. See? You could hear me.
Oddly- When you said listen here, I don't know why. I know we're not reading anymore, but I just imagine like Nerd Man just slamming Anthony's hand or like,
Listen.
punching his hand
Yeah.
or something, right?
Listen. Come on. I'm not joshing with you. I have the Blue Eyes White Dragon.
And Pinocchio.
I have Exodia's right leg, but it really doesn't do much. It just kind of sits there. It's really boring, really. I use it as a lamp.
I don't know what that is.
Brandy gets it. Okay.
I'm sorry, I zoned out. Please repeat that.
Okay. I was just saying that, I have Exodia's right leg, but, it doesn't really do much. See, that's the right audience.
I should have been. What a useless thing if you just got a leg.
No! Okay.
Well, on that note,
Adam
thank you all
was-
for joining
yeah.
us.
Are we
This was
done
kind
yet?
of a spicy episode.
With
Um,
redheads
Joe.
and guns. With them
Redheads.
Students.
With Keep
But we'll look past all of that and move on to
Redheads.
no, we're moving on.
moving off of
Okay, are we
redheads.
done yet? I think we're done.
Are we done yet? I'm gonna stop.
Are we done? We're definitely done.
Okay, we're done. Are we
Okay.
done? Stop recording.
Are we there yet?
Stop